The movie opens with CIA official Donald Fitzroy meeting with a prisoner Cortland Gentry. Fitzroy goes over his record, noting that he has a long stint ahead of him. Fitzroy blatantly offers to commute his sentence, which first amuses Cortland until he realizes that Fitzroy is serious. His freedom, however, is under the condition that Cortland will be trained by the CIA to become an assassin and work for them as part of an elite unit called the Sierra program. Cortland ponders the offer and wonders how long he would be required to work for them, and Fitzroy tells him he would be indefinitely useful. 18 years later, in Bangkok, during the Songkran Festival, we see Cortland, now known as Sierra 6, awaiting the green light for a mission. CIA agent Danny Miranda approaches him and hands him a water gun, which actually has the access card to a room attached to it. 6 then calmly makes his way through the crowd of people to a room and gets inside, where the people are partying above him. There he reveals a case carrying a big-ass gun that looks like it could take down a kaiju, then reports to the CIA Tactical Operations Unit, where his mission is being overseen by Center Chief Carmichael, who orders him to eliminate the target nicknamed Dining Car, who is suspected to be selling national secrets tonight. Carmichael does not trust the Sierra agents with this mission, but 6 was the only available agent in the area. Plus, as Brewer states, he is historically good at his job. Outside the party, the target arrives in a convoy and heads inside surrounded by his men. The target arrives at a room meeting with the buyer, while 6 uses his kaiju killer's heat sensors to track his movements and microphones to listen in on the conversation. 6 confirms his lock on the target and Carmichael gives the go-ahead. But just then, a child enters the room and stands near to the target. 6 refuses to fire due to this, but Carmichael tells him he is cleared for collateral damage. 6 still hesitates and tries finding another vantage point, but is unable to do so, and reports that his gun got jammed, much to the anger of Carmichael. 6 pulls the fire alarms, and hearing this, the target gets cold feet and orders his men to move out. As they are about to leave, 6 begins to silently take out the guards from behind until shots ring out. The remaining guards try to take 6, but damn, this guy's good. Danny also takes out an attacker and gets tackled to the ground. The man pulls a blade and attacks her, but Danny disarms him and fights back, eventually killing him. 6 keeps trying to get to Dining Car, but the guards keep stopping his bullets with their faces. Dining Car breaks free and dives from the building onto another roof, with 6 jumping after him. Dining Car attacks him and goes for his gun, but 6 dismantles the gun quickly. Dining Car then reveals that he knows that Cortland is Sierra 6, then shockingly reveals that he is Sierra 4. 4 knows that this will not deter 6. That's why 7, 8, 9, just kidding, 4 takes up his fighting stance. The two begin to fight, both trading deadly blows and strikes, but 6 holds his composure, pushing 4 back until he grabs a knife and punctures his lung. 6 demands proof that he is actually a Sierra agent, so 4 explains that he was recruited by Fitzroy from prison and was used as an assassin just like 6. 4 further adds that Carmichael is dirty, which is why he is being hunted now. 4 then weakly hands 6 his necklace, telling him to take it and bring down Carmichael. 6 hesitates, but eventually takes it, and before 4 dies, he tells 6 to give them hell. 6 is confused, but holds on to the medallion, just as Miranda comes onto the roof. 4 tries to tell Miranda that their target was Sierra, but Miranda blows it off, stating that maybe he had access to stolen intel, but 6 reminds her that he is Sierra, there should be no intel on him. CIA agents then strip 4 of his belongings and report back to Carmichael of the successful mission. 6, who is leaving the scene of the crime, gets a call from Carmichael, who demands to know if the target said or gave anything to him, all while looking at images of 4 with and without the necklace. 6 opens the necklace to reveal a memory card, then wants to know who the man really was. Carmichael insists that he was a bad man bringing bad stuff and gives 6 one last chance, but 6 hangs up on him. He then buys a guy's jacket and enters a gaming arcade. There, he accesses the memory card to see a file on Carmichael which needs an access key to open. He gets a call from Miranda regarding the next mission and him not answering Carmichael, but 6 tells her to go on without him. 6 then contacts Fitzroy, who is now in retirement, telling him about his job gone bad and that he thinks Carmichael is dirty. Six is worried that Carmichael is now hunting him, so Fitzroy plans to get an extraction team to him ASAP. Six then confirms that the man he killed was indeed Four, and Fitzroy tells him to get to an airfield nearby. Carmichael learns that Six lost the tail they had on Six, which confirms his suspicions that Six has the data they were hunting Four for. Seeing that his ass is on the line, Carmichael plans to call in a sociopathic agent named Lloyd Hansen, ignoring Brewer's protests about his methods. We then meet Lloyd, who is in the middle of torturing a man for information. He gets a call from Carmichael, who orders him to immediately hunt and kill Sierra 6, using any means necessary, and plans to send Brewer along to assist. Carmichael reminds them that Six is trained to be a ghost, but Lloyd learns that Six and Fitzroy had a close relationship, so he has Fitzroy's niece kidnapped from her home. We then see Six arrive at the airfield where a team of men are waiting to extract him. Miranda gets a call from Carmichael, who derails all her plans and orders her to get on a waiting jet to take her to Berlin. Fitzroy is attending the funeral service for one of his colleagues as part of the procession. He then walks by Lloyd, who is casually waiting on him. Lloyd introduces himself, then demands Six's whereabouts, but Fitzroy refuses to give him any information. Lloyd then shows Fitzroy a picture of his niece in bounds, hoping that this will convince him. On the plane, the leader of the team of men, Doolin, gets a call from Fitzroy, now ordering him to terminate Six after taking everything he has on him. Doolin then silently alerts his teammates and pulls his knife. They come upon Six, who attacks them with a fire extinguisher. He then uses a smoke grenade as a weapon, brutally beating down the men. Doolin and Six struggle for a gun which misfires, causing a massive hole in the side of the plane. The plane starts to descend, and Six is forced to fight another man, but easily pushes him out the plane. Six grabs a parachute as the plane begins to fall apart and plummet to the earth. He loses his parachute to another mercenary and is suddenly thrown from the plane. Six free falls through the air among the debris, but spots the man who stole his parachute and dives towards and fights him for the parachute. Meanwhile, Fitzroy is with Lloyd when he gets a call from Six, who landed safely. Six knows Fitzroy betrayed him, but learns that his niece got kidnapped, forcing him to act. Lloyd takes the phone, introducing himself to Six and warning him to turn over the thing he stole, and he will be spared. Lloyd even warns that Fitzroy will pay the price, but Six refuses and hangs up. Fitzroy then boldly tells Lloyd that he will fail because Six's will is greater than his. Lloyd ignores the warning and reveals that he has placed a massive bounty on Six's head and every mercenary team will hunt him down, but Fitzroy tells him that maybe it will not be enough. Six then steals away on a train. There he recalls 2 years earlier, meeting with Fitzroy and CIA official Margaret Cahill. Fitzroy's address was accidentally leaked, and Carmichael had refused to provide security for his family. Fitzroy was given a mission out of the country, so Cahill tasked Six with babysitting Fitzroy's niece in Hong Kong. Six was then introduced to Claire, and soon the two formed a close bond. One night after the nanny left, Six was checking the grounds when Claire collapsed in front of him. He rushed with her to the hospital due to a glitch with her pacemaker. That night after returning home, Six is watching the cameras when they all suddenly go offline. The nanny takes Claire off to bed and Six begins checking around cautiously. A gunman comes in armed, but Six ambushes him and disarms him. The two begin to fight. But Six's moves are precise and he beats the man down. Claire hears the noise and comes to check, but Six reassures her that everything is fine and sends her back to bed. Back in the present, Six makes it to a safe house where he grabs a bag with guns and cash. He meets with a contact named Lazio Sosa, wanting fake passports and to track down the serial number for Claire's pacemaker. Lazio agrees to help him out, so Six heads to the back to clean up. Six steps out to take the photos, but Lazio starts rambling on, taking up time. He snaps a few photos, then tells Six to step closer to the camera, but suddenly activates a trapdoor beneath Six's foot, trapping him. Lazio reveals that he knows about the bounty. Six tries shooting the doors, but it is no use. He then removes some items from his bag and starts working on freeing himself. Lloyd gets news of Six's capture and decides to turn up personally for him. Six removes a piece of pipe and packs it with the gunpowder from his bullets to create a crude bomb. Carmichael, who is interrogating Miranda to find out if she colluded with Six, gets the photo of Six trapped, and Miranda sees the photo from the reflection on his glasses. She denies knowing anything about Six's plan, but Carmichael orders her to stay at the office as he has a team searching her apartment. But as soon as he leaves, Miranda rushes out. 6 then breaks the water pipe close by, and soon the entire trap room is being filled with water. Lloyd and his team make it to the site and burst in with guns drawn. They find Lacio sitting alone and demand 6's whereabouts, but when Lacio demands his money, Lloyd nonchalantly shoots him dead. Lloyd sends his team down to retrieve 6, but as 2 men near the door, 6 sets off his bomb, killing them. He rushes at the men with a blade, cutting all of them down until Lloyd Pepper sprays him and holds him at gunpoint demanding the drive, but 6 drops a grenade, forcing them both to make a run for it. 6 recovers from the explosion and is making his getaway, but Lloyd finds him. Before Lloyd can get any closer, though, Miranda shoots him with a tranq, knocking him down. Miranda then binds 6's hands and has him open the trunk to her car before shooting him with a dart as well. Fitzroy is flown to the massive mansion owned by the CIA, where he is reunited with Claire and apologizes to her. 6 recovers from the tranq, and Miranda explains that the agency thinks they are working together, and she wants to bring him in to clear her name. She asks about the drive and wants to see what's on it, so 6 convinces her to get them both to Margaret Cahill, who is now retired. Miranda hesitates, so 6 makes it clear that she could be next on Carmichael's hit list. Lloyd and Brewer get video footage of 6 mailing a package to Prague, and he goes to interrogate Fitzroy, throwing Claire out of the room. The men strap Fitzroy to a chair, and Lloyd pulls out pliers, demanding to know who is 6's contact. Fitzroy tells him it's his mom, so Lloyd gets comfortable and begins removing Fitzroy's fingernails one by one. Seeing that Fitzroy will not break, Lloyd then suggests they bring Claire back into the room. Miranda and 6 meet with a now-old Margaret in her home. She has been able to access the drive, which contains files on Carmichael's dealings, including unsanctioned assassinations and bombings. He has been using the CIA as his own hit squad, and she suspects that he is working with someone within the US government who has been covering his tracks. They are unable to make a copy of the disc, so Miranda wants to leak the info to the press ASAP. But 6 wants to rescue Fitzroy and Claire first, so Margaret hands him the keys to her car. Meanwhile, Lloyd is overseeing a team of hitmen on their way to Margaret's home. They pull up outside and suddenly open fire on the apartment, sending everyone running for cover. The 3 survive the assault, and 6 tries to lead Margaret through a trap door, but she locks herself in the apartment, ordering 6 to get to safety. The team of men rush the building, guns ready, and see Margaret sitting alone, but as they near her, she sets off a massive explosion, killing herself and the men. Outside, cops hold 6 at gunpoint, ordering him to surrender. 6 pretends to surrender but suddenly attacks the cops and escapes under gunfire. 6 tries to run away from the chasing cops but ends up getting hit by a car and arrested. Lloyd's team learns of his arrest, and he orders his team to move in and kill anyone standing in their way. 6, who is handcuffed to a bench, spots a van pull up and steals a cop's gun and lets off shots to alert the people. A squad then jumps from the van and opens fire at 6, killing the cops around him. 6 hides behind the bench as the men take on and wipe out any cops approaching them. The cops call in the SWAT team, who begin engaging the mercenaries, so Lloyd calls in another hit team to even the playing field. Lloyd orders his men to push towards 6 and kill him, but they are having a hard time against the cops. 6 spots a gun nearby and manages to grab it and kill a mercenary, but runs out before he can free himself. Brewer is freaking out, swearing that they will all go to prison and begging Lloyd to pull his men back. But Lloyd ups 6's bounty by 10 million, causing his men to get serious. One mercenary jumps in his van and drives towards 6, who barely manages to reload his gun and kill the driver before evading. 6 gets on a moving tram and the team of men chase after him, but there he disarms a shield from one and kills them all. Lloyd calls in another team and a gunner opens fire on 6 from a moving jeep, but he uses the shield to tank the gunfire. Miranda then shows up and rams the shooter, spinning them out. She tells 6 to jump, but he is attacked by a man but evades his strikes and throws him out. 6 grabs a gun and kills the driver of the jeep, causing them to crash. Just then, a van pulls in front of them and opens to reveal massive cannons firing explosives. 6 gets to the roof of the tram, and before the cannons can fire on him again, Miranda rams the van, causing it to crash into the tram, derailing it. 6 sprints along the roof of the tram just as it crashes into a building but manages to dive onto Miranda's car. He gets in, tells her thanks, and they set off. Lloyd is calling for his teams but is getting no response, and Brewer is ripping him a new one. Lloyd then makes contact with an assassin who is tracking Miranda's car and orders him to retrieve the asset. 6's mission is to save Claire, So he and Miranda head to the hospital where they steal a nurse's access card to their computer room and track down Claire's location using her pacemaker serial number. Just as they are about to leave, Six is suddenly stabbed through the hand by the assassin who had been tracking them. Miranda and Six both attack at once, but the man is a skilled fighter and throws them around. He grabs the necklace from Six, who tries using his skills to retrieve it. But the man stabs Six in the side and knocks Miranda back. Six shocks him with a defibrillator, but the assassin uses it as a weapon and beats them both down before launching himself through a window and onto the street. Six comes out after him and sees him kill some officers who were trying to arrest him. He throws Miranda a gun, who races along the rooftops to cut the man off, but when she does, her gun is empty and the man escapes. Miranda curses Six out for giving her a loaded gun, but Six begs them to move before he bleeds out. The two break into a vet's office to get him medical supplies. Miranda asks how Six ended up in prison in the first place, and he explains that he was raised by an abusive father who tortured him and his brother, until one day he had enough and shot him to death. He thought he was doing a noble thing, but everyone wanted him in prison until Fitzroy found him. At the mansion, the assassin turns over the necklace to Lloyd. Outside, Six reveals himself to two men who approach him with guns, but Miranda shoots them dead. Back inside, Brewer is still mad at Lloyd for his actions when suddenly the lights go dead. Miranda then uses a rocket launcher to shoot down a circling helicopter. She then rushes the front gates with a grenade launcher, fearlessly taking on the men. Meanwhile, Fitzroy and Claire are in the room when they hear gunshots and the doors rattling. He sends her to hide, but to their relief it is Six. Lloyd gathers his men to launch their offensive, but Miranda attacks and retreat, making him realize that she is trying to draw him away. Lloyd races back to the room, only to see his men dead and his hostages missing. Miranda takes cover behind a van, before reloading and firing directly into the control room, blowing it up. Six is leading Fitzroy and Claire along the rooftops when they come under fire from Lloyd and two other men. Six returns fire, but it turns out that Fitzroy has been shot. Six does not want to leave him behind, but Fitzroy urges him to think rationally and leave him a grenade. Six grabs a screaming Claire, keeping the men back with shots before jumping into the waters with Claire. Lloyd and his men approach Fitzroy, who pulls the grenade pin, causing an explosion. Miranda gets to the control room with an assault rifle, but the assassin has survived and attacks her. The two try to strangle each other out, but the assassin breaks free. Instead of attacking her, he tells her to take the drive, as he realizes he does not work for honorable people. Six and Miranda make it to a boat, but a van of mercenaries comes at them. Six takes on the men and manages to kill them, but Lloyd rushes at him and the two begin to fight, but Lloyd breaks free, grabs Claire, and runs off into a garden maze. Six goes searching for them both, and comes upon Lloyd holding a gun to Claire's head. Lloyd forces Six to disarm himself, but wants to test his skills against Six. Miranda has him in her sights, but Six tells her to get Claire as he plans to take Lloyd on. Six sends Claire to meet Miranda, then the two men silently engage each other. The two men are almost evenly matched, but Six is more composed and hits Lloyd hard. Lloyd pulls a knife and begins slicing Six up and even manages to stab him in the shoulder. Six does not give up, taking a few more cuts before disarming Lloyd. Lloyd then holds Six underwater to drown him, but the relentless Six breaks free and grabs Lloyd in a chokehold. Just then Lloyd is shot in the chest and killed by Brewer, who also shoots Six in the leg. She plans to blame all the recent attacks on Lloyd to get leverage over Carmichael and promises to keep Six and Claire safe, as long as he decides to work for her and the CIA. 2 weeks later, at a CIA briefing, Lloyd is thrown under the bus and Carmichael faces no consequences for his actions. After the meeting, Miranda threatens to kill Carmichael if any harm comes to Claire. Brewer has Six locked in a secure cell and plans to use Claire as leverage to keep him obedient, but Carmichael warns her about being overconfident. They head down to the secure basement to see Six, but are shocked to see all their operatives down and Six missing. Claire is being held at a secure CIA facility under heavy guard. She is brought to her room and locked inside, but just then gunshots begin to ring out and Six walks in to rescue her. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more movies like this. Thanks for watching.